I am live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Okay, let's see how this goes. I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone, going live on both platforms at the same time. But for my vegans out there, I'll say feed two birds with one scone, because we don't want to be killing birds, right? Kill two birds with one stone, or feed two birds with one scone. All right. So I'm about to start my retwist, but I really wanted to talk to you all about my appearance on Harlem and just my experience, period, doing background acting. So a lot of people don't consider it acting; they call it extras, which I can understand. I can understand you calling us extras. That's a fair take. We typically don't have any dialogue. However, we are cast as actors, and on set we're referred to as background actors, right? We're given specific things to do. For instance, in the scene that I was in for Harlem, I was a patron at the diner, and I was with two associates at my table, and we were supposed to be engaging in conversation as we were eating. So we were acting like we knew each other. We were acting like we were friends, having dinner together. So in the scene, by the way, if to be specific, I did post the short on my TikTok and on my YouTube. So, or I should say, short on YouTube, TikTok on TikTok. I posted the short so you can see the part that I'm in that scene. And you do see that I'm engaging, I'm laughing, I'm talking to my neighbors. Okay, so I did just wash my hair and I'm about to do my retwist now. I had it in the towel drying for about 30 minutes, so it's still very damp. And I'm going to oil it. Of course, I'm using the horsetail leaf growth oil to massage into my scalp. And this was available on TikTok Shop. I have to get it back on TikTok Shop. But for now, it's available on my website only. So I'm going to do my scalp massage. Oh, it's been such a long time. So do any of you guys watch Harlem? But I've done other shows. But before I talk about the other shows, I want to talk about Harlem a little bit more. So it was really nice. First of all, when it comes to these sets, like you're on all day. You are there from early and then you leave in the night. So I think I was on this particular set for about maybe 12 hours. And I think the longest time I've ever been on set doing background was probably 14 hours. 14 hours. But I'll talk about that 14-hour day in another time. Not another time. I'll show you today, but later. As far as Harlem goes, because I was placed at a really good location in the scene, I did get to interact with the principal actors, and they were really, really nice to me. They were really sweet, especially Grace, the one who plays Quinn, or she's probably best known as Anika or Boo Boo Kitty on Empire. She was really, really sweet. I think she came across really outgoing. I don't know if that's her demeanor typically, or if she was just trying to be friendly on set, but she was really nice. And she told me that I look like Tony Childs from Girlfriends, and I get that all the time. So, so that just made me laugh. I was like, yeah, I get that a lot. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But like, we couldn't really hear, and that's the thing. Like, oftentimes when we're on set and the scene is like a lot of people, even if people are quiet, you still really can't hear. Just like think about when you're in an environment, if someone is sitting a little bit of a distance away from you, you can't really hear what they're saying, So I couldn't really get any tea from what was going on the season. So I didn't really know. I didn't really get any spoilers except for the fact that Megan Good's character was pregnant. She had a big belly. So that was a spoiler I got, but I didn't get any other spoilers from the dialogue. But yeah, that's always a really good experience. Really fun on set. Now, the experiences that I've had that was not so fun was on Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I did love working Raising Kanan. I worked on Raising Kanan several times. But what I did not like was that I was always cast in a scene that was either in a party or a club. So I'm not going to say too much because I think 2 scenes that I'm in is in the upcoming season, and that did not come out yet. So I'm not going to speak on that. But I will speak on episode that I was in from last season where it was a club scene. And it was like, it was the episode where Kanan and Unique's brother, I forgot his name, the scary guy, the creepy guy, they had went to a club in Queens to meet up with like some head honcho in Queens to do business. And they met his whole like posse, and it's probably like the only big club scene in that season. So that was that. But the reason why that was my worst experience was because I was chosen to be on the dance floor. Mind you, like there were people who were chosen to sit in the VIP sections. There was people who were chosen to stand by the bar. I was chosen to stand on the dance floor. So that doesn't mean that I'm standing on the dance floor. That means I'm supposed to be dancing. Okay? Dancing. And what I like about it is that they're not playing music the whole time, but they will play music for like the first like 10 seconds for you all to catch the beat. And then you just have to like just repeat that beat in your head and keep dancing, because they cut the music off, and so that the people can say their lines and they can record it. So yeah, so dancing and dancing, dancing. Mind you, I had on stilettos. So I just know, and mind you, that was probably my first scene ever, my first background scene ever. So I didn't know how long it would take for them to do the scene. Like I didn't know how many times we would do the takes over and over again and get different angles. I didn't know. So that the first few takes, I'm dancing for real. I'm dancing. Mind you, the show takes place in the 90s. So they're playing 90s music. Thank you, W. Good afternoon, Sharita. So it was like a 90s beat that they played in the beginning, and then when they cut the music off, I'm still trying to dance 90s. 90s was very energetic, So I'm dancing. But by like take 5, maybe 6, I was like, oh no, my feet are standing in place, and I'm gonna just move my upper body because my feet are hurting. I'm wearing stilettos. I was wearing stilettos. Yeah, I was over it. So for those of you just joining, like I just finished washing my hair, and I am now oiling my scalp and raking some excess onto my hair. And this is the horsetail leaf growth oil. And it's available only in drops now. So make sure that you are on my website on the 15th through the 18th, because that's when the drops are taking place. That's when you're able to make your purchases. So Sharita, I'm talking about my experience back being a background actress. So right now I'm talking about the harshest experience I had on Raising Kanan. But still fun. It was still fun, and it's always really cool to like talk to the other actors on set, the background actors. And that's probably my favorite part about doing that job. And at this point, I'm not sure if I'll do it moving forward. I just don't really have the time. And that's the thing. If any of you are interested in becoming a background actor, if you're in a city like New York, Atlanta, LA, I'm not sure if there's any other cities, but definitely New York, Atlanta, LA, you can register with Central Casting. And basically you have to go to their headquarters and fill out some paperwork, take a headshot, and you create an account on their website, and they put your like you have to put your like physical traits and things and stuff like that on there, so that when they're looking for specific types of background actors, they find you. So it's not like you have to look for jobs at all. They will email you, they will text you and be like, hey, are you available on the 4th? Let us know if you're available or not for Law and Order. And you say yes or no, and then they take it from there. So, and it is like, it's not like they give you so much time in advance. It's usually like they give you a couple of days. They ask you like a couple of days before they shoot. They'll ask you like, hey, are you available for this Thursday, essentially? So if you have a 9 to 5, it's not convenient. And because I do run my business myself at home, my schedule is a little bit more flexible, so I can take a day and do a background scene. But I know everybody doesn't have that convenience, so that's something to keep in mind if you want to pursue doing some background. I mean, it's they pay you, it's not like amazing pay. You get a few $100s for a full day's work, and that's if you're not in the union. If you're in the union, you get more. I'm not in the union. So that's something to consider if you want to do that, if you want to do background acting. So Sharita's in Atlanta, Kira is in New York. Okay, so that's something if y'all have like time, basically that's what it's about. If you have time and patience, because when it comes to the world and stuff, like being on sets in general, it's all about patience. They will rush you for you to wait. So they'll like make sure you're ready at this point in time, but they don't even need you yet. So yeah, so you're rushing to wait, and a lot of your time is spent just like either to yourself, you can mind your business, read a book, or you can, talk to the other actors who are waiting just like you. And I did make a bunch of connections. So that's that. So that was that one scene of Raising Kanan. My feet hurt, and I saw myself. That was my first time seeing myself on a scene. And when I tell you, I was like, oh my gosh, I was on set for 14 hours for you to see me for 3 seconds. But that's what it is. That's the job. Now I'm about to do my retwist. I'm using the Love Light Locks gel, and it's not available anymore. It might be on Amazon. A couple might be on Amazon, but it's sold out on my website, and it's not coming back anytime soon. So actually, I'm going to start my retwist from the back. I'm going to start with the back, and I'm going to start retwisting. So yeah, so that was Raising Kanan. And I will say my most exciting experience doing background acting was for Power Book 2, Ghost. So if you Does anybody here watch that, or did you watch it? The show's finished now, so let me know if you used to watch that show, because I was in a very exciting episode from last season. And I want to say it was the penultimate episode. It was the episode where Mary J. Blige's character got killed. I was in that episode. And I did post a little clip of me. Maybe I don't know if I posted it on TikTok or on YouTube, but I definitely posted it on my IG story. But basically, you saw me in the scene where Lil Durk was talking to somebody. Like, so you see, like, Lil Durk is in focus, and then I'm like behind Lil Durk, mingling. Like, I was mingling with the with some other wedding not patriots. What's the word I'm looking for? Patrons. Not wedding patrons. Wedding guests, child. Wedding guests. So it was at a wedding. It was a wedding scene. Debbie says, I still watch it, but I've not seen book 2 yet. Okay. Well, I hope I didn't spoil too much for you just now. Maybe you'll forget it by the time you get up to that. Get up to book 2. But I'm happy you made it live too. Yeah, though, but the fact that that scene was shot at a beautiful mansion in Long Island. So I drove out to Long Island. Oh, I was driven out to Long Island and got my hair done, and it was my own clothes. Hey, haven't watched almost anything. What platform is that on? Oh, Lesage. It is on Stars. I can't say that I recommend it. I can't say I recommend it. The show is so ridiculous. I mean, it's entertaining, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah. Well, yeah, I drove out to Long Island, or I was driven out to Long Island, and yeah, I got my hair done, makeup done. I wore my own clothes, and that's usually, I shouldn't say usually. I think maybe half the time in my experience, I wore my own clothes, but other times I did not. Actually, when Raising Kanan was a period piece, so that was actually the only time I didn't wear my own clothes. But when I did Harlem, I wore my own clothes. When I did Power Book 2, I wore my own clothes. I love ridiculous things. I watch soap operas. Okay. Well, it's definitely on track for that. Definitely soap opera-esque. Definitely soap opera-esque. But yeah, but the thing is, that day, that was a long day. It was like, oh, not soap operas. Oh, you said ridiculous things. Are operas ridiculous? I know soap operas are ridiculous, but I don't know about operas. I don't know if I would call them ridiculous. Oh, they are? Okay. I don't think I've ever seen one. But I guess that makes sense. I guess that's probably why they call it soap operas, if they're both they're both on track like that. But yeah, so that day in particular was really rough when I was on set for the wedding at the mansion in Long Island, because it was September, and September in New York, it's still summer, but it gets cold sooner. So like the wedding scene was outside, and it was just really cold. It was like a really cold wind, but it wasn't cold all day. So like, I guess I just should have looked at the forecast. But I didn't think we were going to be outside. I wasn't dressed. My wedding attire was not outside wedding attire. So I was freezing cold. Man, but and my feet hurt so bad. I wore their shoes. They gave me some shoes that barely fit, and it hurt so bad. But I got home at like 3:00 in the morning that day. So for those of you who are interested in doing background, it's something to do. It's something fun, you know, it's a nice change of pace. So if that's something you guys are interested in, I definitely would say go for it. But I would want you to manage your expectations. Oh my God, yeah, people sing for 10 minutes about dying or being killed. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. But but as far as Harlem goes, yeah, you guys, I did post the short of me on the new episode of Harlem, but it's just my profile. I'm a little out of focus, but you could tell it's me. And they happen to put me at the most ridiculous line in the whole episode. So definitely check out that short to see to see the line, or to hear the line that's spoken when you see me, because it's kind of crazy. But that show's been interesting. I've been actually watching it. Actually, that's a fun thing too. All the shows that I've done background for, I actually had been a fan of. So it when it came down to me doing background for Power Book 2 Ghosts and for Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, it was really fun because I got to like get a little info, a little tea, um, or like just like see the actors that like in their element. It was really cool. Or like, yeah, yeah, that was really cool. My favorite, uh, I was gonna say my favorite time doing background on Ghosts was when I had actually a close up. The scene started off on my face and I'm shouting, and I'm at a fight club and I'm like shouting at the match. Imagine me like at a fight club cheering for some fighters. Imagine that, right? But yeah, that's how that scene started off. So that was probably that was definitely my biggest appearance as a background actor, starting off that scene fake shouting, because I'm actually not really shouting at all, I'm just mouthing. And yeah, that scene was really cool. Do you think you'd get those gigs if you weren't in a big city? Absolutely not. I was talking about that earlier actually. You have to be in New York, Atlanta, or Los Angeles to be cast through Central Casting. So Central Casting is basically the casting agency that casts background actors. And because so many films are made in New York, Atlanta, and LA, that's where those agencies are. So that's where they I mean yeah, that's where they shoot films, so that's where they need background actors the most. Mm. I haven't retwisted my hair in a long time, so my parts are kind of like out of control. My parts are out of control, and plus I just washed it. But yeah, so yeah, you have to be living in a major city. Like I want to say you have to be able to like access a major city quickly, but I don't even think they want you to live outside of those cities. Maybe if you live in the tri-state area, they'll let you apply, but they want people who can like come at a drop of a dime, because very often, and I don't know what it is, but very often will book you very last minute. Like you have to be able to like have such a flexible schedule to be able to accommodate their um their shooting schedule. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. Especially when they're shooting on set. I like, don't you guys like have to book the set out in advance? I don't know why they tell us last minute. But I've shot on locations and on sets. And shooting on set is by far a much more pleasant experience. Happy Sunday, Bug. Shooting on set is by far a more pleasant experience. But you know, they do a lot of filming for the TVs, shows, and movies in New York, at least in the winter time. So that's probably why, like, when we are on location, it's not that pleasant, because it's always just so cold. It's always so cold. Um, yeah, that cost of living brutal. a bit in Philly. Maybe Atlanta is more doable. Yeah, yeah. The cost of living is definitely high. If I wasn't from here, like I'm a local. Like my family's from here. Well, my family is Guyanese, but when they moved to America, they settled here, and I was born. Well, actually, I was born in Maryland. Fun fact: my dad was in the Air Force, so we lived a few places. But I was born in Maryland, but I lived in New York since I was 7 years old. So I often forget that I wasn't born here. Happy Black History Month to you too, W. Bug is Ebony. Oh, hi, Ebony. Hi, Ebony. Ebony, are you doing the water challenge? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I have a water challenge going on right now. We're drinking a gallon a day for the first 7 days of February, and we do this at the beginning of every month. Every month we do, well, since last month. And I am behind on my water for today, but I needed to come live and chit chat. And I want to remind you all that as far as the hair products go, they are now only available from the 15th through the 18th of each month. So make sure that you are subscribed to my email list so that you can get first dibs. Or you can go to my website and put your email in to get an email, a direct email from that app that the product is back in stock. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, basically I was saying if I wasn't from here, I probably wouldn't want to live here. I don't know. I mean, I do love the city. W, you can buy the head wraps anytime you want. The drops are just for the hair products itself, just for the products. But you can buy the head wraps anytime. I actually have some right next to me, but I don't want to touch them with my hair, with my hands all greasy and gooky. Hey, I tried yesterday. It's hard. I could only get to 16.9 fluid ounces. Should have been almost 8. That's all right. It was just day one. Yesterday, I almost completed. I don't even know how many ounces off I was, but I was just maybe 4 to 8 ounces off from my gallon. But that's all right. And at this rate, I might be on the same page as yesterday, but that's okay. It's a challenge. You know, we're challenging ourselves, and this is a healthy challenge. But yeah, but how is it like in Philly? I don't know how is the cost of living in Philly? I don't know. Greetings, Carolyn. Greetings. I was just talking about my experience doing background acting, and I think I might be retired. I'm not sure though, but I think I might be retired. I just don't think I have the time to do it while I'm just working on my business. It's fun though. It is cool to see the behind the scenes. I do love that. I love that, and I learned a lot. For instance, did you know that in scenes when you're watching TV and movies, did you know that in the scenes where people are dancing and they're playing music, did you know there's no music playing? So when you see people are dancing off beat, it's because there's no music playing for real. They're dancing to nothing. Like I am right now. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing on set of movies and stuff when you're in those scenes. You're really dancing to nothing. So in my experience, okay, so I was in two separate shows where there was a dance scene. So in the club scene on Raising Kanan, they played music for maybe 10 seconds. They played 10 seconds of a song, then they cut the song, and you just have to keep the rhythm that you were on. And another scene that I was in for Ghost, it was a wedding scene, and it just had like they didn't even play any real music. It was like, it sounded like a drum. Like they just like, they went like that for like 10 seconds, and we just had to get on the beat. Philly is one of the most affordable cities in the States. Really? For whatever reason, the wealth tends to leave for the burbs instead of establishing itself within the city. I had no idea. Okay. That's good to know. Philly might be the move, huh? Oh snap, I thought it was because so many white people. No, even on the black shows, the black productions, everyone is off beat because there's no beat. There's no beat. And the thing is, like, after they play the music, like after they stop, and then you keep going for like a couple of minutes, you might stay on the beat for a little bit, but eventually you're gonna fall off. You're gonna fall off because there's no beat. W said, wow, I truly did not know that. I did not know until I started working. I started doing the work. I had no idea. Center City condos are like $250K. Wow. Yeah. So that's one cool thing that I learned about, productions, being on set. What else did I learn? Oh, the cigarettes. When people are like smoking cigarettes and stuff, they're not actually smoking cigarettes. They're smoking, it's like a chamomile, like a herbal thing, which is good to know. Cause yeah, that's good to know. And like drinks, the drinks are not like, you would think, okay, you go into the club. I mean, in the scene, you go into a club and they, the bartender gives you drinks and stuff. You would think that, oh, that's juice. It's not alcohol, but it's juice. It's not even juice. It's water with food coloring. It's water with food coloring. I think like if it's like the principal actor, as in like the main actor in the scene, I'm sure they probably get a real drink, because sometimes you actually see them sipping for real. But background actors, you never see them really drinking that. And it's because well, for one, it's because it's water with food coloring. But for two, it's because oftentimes, like, you're holding somebody else's cup, like that cup has been sitting out all day, and like when you're in the scene, you have to grab a cup and go on set, and you can't ever be too certain that you're grabbing the same cup. They do try to make it organized so that you are grabbing the same cup, but you can never be so certain. And even if it is your cup, why would you want to drink a cup that's been sitting out all day? So like, you're not gonna see background actors. You're not gonna see background actors drinking for real. Anything else that I learned? Oh, I mean, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but like also like in the scenes where people are like, it's crowds and people are yelling. Usually they're not really yelling, they're mouthing, they're doing that. And that's the way that you're able to get the dialogue from the principal actors. Because if we're all really screaming, then it's going to interfere with the audio, So what they will do is they will take like a moment for us to scream for real, and then they'll just record our audio screaming, and then they'll like overlay it in post-production. So that's pretty cool too. So yeah. Is that it? That's what comes to mind, at least when it comes to the things that I learned being a background actor. Bleeds into the mic, yeah. Sound design is so intricate in post. Yeah, I definitely learned that. Like I learned about like how they'll even have to record like the room in silence. Like I forgot what they call that. I forgot. There's a word like where they want everyone to stay still and be quiet, and then they'll just like record like the way the room sounds. Well, actually, I learned that from doing short films in the past. So I have done a little bit of acting, but none of my short films ever came out, and hopefully they do at some point. Even though I'm sure I did pretty terrible, I would still like to see it. Even if it's on Tubi, I would still like to see it. But yeah. So I just think that the BTS of filmmaking and TV show productions is really cool. So in the past, I did, decide, I'm gonna take this day and dedicate 14 hours to being on set today because I just really want to like see it's cool. But honestly, I don't know if I have time for that. If I don't know if I can like really dedicate time for that. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is nice, when you are self-employed, you do have certain luxuries. You can do things like that. You can, create your own schedules, but it did kind of inconvenience me, especially because that means that the next day I was very tired. I was always extremely exhausted the day after shooting. And also the work that I had planned to do that day, now I have to like double up the other day and things like that. So I don't know. So I don't know if it's really worth it, especially for a few $100s, like $300 tops for non-union actors. So I don't know. But yeah, since I've been doing that kind of work, I do look at movies and television differently. I think I look a little bit harder. I look more into it. Well, I think I've been doing that ever since I've been like a content creator though, because like you just learn more about like product placement, you know? You still do all your own packaging too, right? Mostly. So most of my products that I make in-house, I package those. So for instance, my hair oils, my gel, well, my gel was on Amazon as well, but I did have some in-house as well. My oils, my hair mists, and my head wraps and things, like I do package these in-house. However, when it comes to my hair supplements, I don't. This is essentially drop shipped from my affiliate, or I should say my partner who helped me formulate those. So are you on your feet for 14 hours for this background work, then mailing out products for another 12 hours next day? Ouch. Well, so you're not really on your feet for 14 hours. So you're not really on set for 14 hours. They might only have you on set for like 4 hours, but they'll have you in what they call holding. So basically, like for instance, shoot day, they may hire 50 background actors. But for this particular scene, they only want 10. And then the next scene, they only want 15. The next scene, they want another like 20. So they'll cycle through the actors that they have. So if I only get chosen for the first scene with the 10 people, so the rest of the day, they're not going to just send me home. They're going to have me sit in holding, basically where I can have some snacks and stuff. I'll sit there until they release me. And the reason why they don't release me immediately after my scene is because they'll look back on the footage and they'll look and see, maybe we need to reshoot this. But if they sent me home, then there's going to be some continuity issues. So they'll have me just sit and wait until the end of the day. And there's that. But that's just an example. Usually I will get used more than once. I do notice that whenever I did a scene or an episode, they would usually have me do more than one scene, which is cool because I want to be on set. I don't want to be in holding. But as far as packaging, I'm not packaging on my feet. I would usually like set myself up to be prepared so I can sit down and package. So yeah, my feet are cool. My feet are good. Yeah. I'm glad this is interesting, Ebony. Um, do you still get compensated when they put you on the side to wait? Absolutely. So you get paid for the whole day. So usually it'll be like automatically 10 hours. Like when they hire you, they say 10 hours. So you're getting your base pay is 10 hours and then you get paid overtime for more than the 10 hours. So if usually it'll be like, in my experience, it was like 12 or 14. Did I ever really do 14 hours? That's crazy. I don't know if I ever did 14, maybe just 12. No, I think I did. Either way, it's usually never just 10 hours. You get paid overtime. And even if they never choose you to be in the scene, just the fact that you came in and signed in, you're getting paid that day. But yeah, that's never happened to me. I've always been used, but I've definitely met other people on set who've said that they just had a free day, just sitting, waiting, and they were never selected, which to me is very wasteful. But I guess these shows just have like budgets where they can just do that, you know? Do they treat background actors nice, or do they sometimes act funny or mean? Like, for example, treating you all different than the regular main actors. So I'm guessing you're talking about the production people. I've had mixed experiences, especially because I've worked on, in total, when it came down to the Power shows, so Power Raising Kanan and Power Ghost. Those are two separate shows, but they pretty much have like the same production people. And I've done multiple episodes of each. So I've done under 10, but I've done multiple episodes of both. So I definitely encountered a lot of the same PAs and a lot of the same, I don't even know what these people's titles are, but a lot of the same like production people, essentially. The background actor wranglers, like I've worked with a lot of them, and I definitely favored some and I definitely did not like others. And it wasn't even so much that we were treated poorly at times. I just think that it's just a high stress environment that some of those workers, I feel like just were not built for those jobs. A lot of those people were kind of just had like really bad nerves. They were just really like frantic, and sometimes they would be snappy. And I never took it like, oh, they're doing this because we're just background actors. No, I just took it as like, this person needs some CBD gummies. That's how I took that. But besides that, I do remember one time in particular. Okay, so we were shooting a scene. The scene did not come out yet. Can't wait to see it though. So we were shooting a scene that took place in a bar in Manhattan, and they needed to like do some changes to it for like the following scene or something. So they had us go outside. So mind you, this is not a set. This is a real bar that they used. So they had us waiting outside the bar for them to finish doing whatever changes they needed to do the set. Mind you, we probably shot this in like, I want to say this is probably January 2024. It's January in New York City. It is freezing outside. It is like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're outside in the cold. And we're wearing bar clothes because, again, like we're casted to be in the bar scene. So we're going to be wearing bar clothes. We're wearing like little shorts and skirts and things like that. It is January in New York City. Y'all have us standing outside in the cold while y'all are fixing the set. Mind you, the bar we were shooting at was probably like 4 to 7 blocks away from holding. So basically holding is where they keep everybody together. That's where we go and eat. That's where all of our clothes and our bags and stuff is in holding. And holding was in a church. So they had so our like basically our headquarters for the day was at the church, which is like 7 blocks away from the bar. And they would not let us go back to holding where we can be inside where it's warm. They wanted us to stay outside of the bar because they kept saying, oh, they're going to be done fast. They're going to be done fast. We're going to need you right back inside. That time ended up being like an hour. Y'all have us standing outside for an hour in the cold. It's 30 degrees. We're wearing skirts and heels. So that was like my most a ridiculous experience where I felt like they treated us poorly because we were background actors. Yeah, they feed us for sure. For sure. I have done one episode of something where they didn't feed us, but they comped us. So when you do background acting and if they don't feed you, like if they don't have food on set, they will just pay you more. They'll put it on your check, essentially. I've heard that the music industry is a bit more status driven, but I had a good experience in theater. Most folks I know who did TV said the same. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I did any movies though. I've only done TV. But I bet. Status driven theater. Yeah. Because I think theater is more about like talent. You know, I think theater is more about actual talent. Like you have actual thespians, you know, doing their thing versus like some of the shows that I did background for, you had guest actors who are rappers. Like you're not an actor, you're a rapper making a cameo. You know, it's more about shout out to Little Dirk, but it's not about like the art so much, you know. Bar in church. You know, yeah, I thought it was pretty funny that the scene was actually in a gay bar, but our holding was in a Catholic church in the village. You're welcome. Oh, this one is already done. Yeah, whenever I go live and do my hair, it always takes me like 3 times as long to finish. But yes. How are you notified if you get the part? They will text you. They will email you and text you. And they'll basically, yeah, you're not applying for any parts. You just have your profile available on the website, Central Casting, and they just reach out to you if your appearance suits the need for the scene, and they'll just ask you, are you available? You say yes or no, and then the next time they reach out to you is they'll ask you if you can come to the fitting, if there is a fitting, or they'll just give you a time to be on set, and they'll tell you the location like right beforehand. Like when I say right beforehand, I mean like the night before. It's like say your call time is like 6 a.m. They won't tell you the location until like 9:30 p.m. the night before. I don't know if it's maybe for. I mean, I don't know. Is that really for security purposes? I don't know. Or maybe just because maybe sometimes things change last minute. Poppy said, I used to watch your YouTube videos when you taught cinnamon roll retwist. Oh, Thank you, Poppy. I'm doing the cinnamon roll retwist right now, and I'm streaming on YouTube as well. So if you can stay on TikTok or you can head over to YouTube. Probably need to keep your look consistent. Then yeah, you do, or you can update your profile. So that is what I did skip that part. So when they ask you if you're available, they also ask if your appearance is still aligned with what your profile looks like right now. And if it looks a little different, submit a picture. So there's that. Yeah. But I definitely wouldn't suggest that anyone doesn't change their appearance so that they can get booked for a background job. Like that's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that they don't pay enough for all of that. Yeah, so it's cool to like network with other actors, other background actors, and honestly, you're gonna come across with different kinds of people. So you're gonna come across people who are actually aspiring actors. Like a good 50% of the time, people there are in SAG-AFTRA. They're union actors. Half of the actors are actual union actors, but the other half are people like me who are just trying to dabble and see, you know. And there's other people who are like trying to make ends meet and they're trying to get some money. Like a lot of times people like really just don't care. They're like, okay, I got an opportunity. I just want to make this money today. You know, I guess they don't have like a steady job maybe. I definitely came across a lot of those too, especially working on Power, because Power, oh, not to be rude, but Power has a lot of scenes where there's a lot of like gangsters, you know, a lot of gangster scenes. Like when I did the scenes with the Fight Club, it was a lot of, I was like one of 10 women. I mean, yeah, I was one of 10 women and it was about 100 people. Okay. So it was a whole lot of men. And I remember in that talking to people in that scene, like a lot of those guys were not actors. Like they were just like, oh, I'm just like, you know, I'm trying to get paid today. You know, I'm just trying to make some money. Yeah. So I met a bunch of those. But I did also meet a lot of people who were pursuing acting for real on those sets as well. So yeah. So if you want to get into this, my of haircuts are for rich people, should be adjusted. So if I want to get into this, my motto of haircuts for rich people, haircuts are for rich people, should be adjusted. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless you just keep updating your profile as your hair gets longer. Oh. They missed the Red Locks era. Yes, the Red Locks era it's you know, it's documented, it's immortalized on YouTube. So it's there, it's out there if they want to take a look in the archives. Because I had my locks red for a good amount of years, and I'm not going back. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah. Any other things cool to talk about when it came down to background? I will say, working on Harlem. I think that was probably my most pleasant experience. But I mean, I heard a lot of good things about the other shows that I turned down. Like for instance, Law and Order reached out to me so many times, but I always turned down Law and Order because they always asked me to participate in one of two types of scenes, right? They always asked me to be a pedestrian or a club goer. And my experience doing that club scene on Raising Kanan taught me that I'm not doing any more club scenes ever because if I get placed on that dance floor and I have to fake dance for 4 hours, my feet are going to be ridiculously upset at me. So no club scenes. I mean, because who knows if I'm going to be lucky and I get to have a seat in the club, if I'm going to be in VIP or something. Who knows? They might want me on the dance floor. No. So no club scenes, Law and Order. And I learned from the other background actors not to do pedestrian roles. So what does that mean? Pedestrian roles means you're going to be doing scenes where you're walking around outside. Again, in New York City, they tend to shoot a lot of these shows in the wintertime. I don't want to be outside all day in the cold. So sorry, Law and Order, it never happened. And at this rate, it probably won't ever happen. I don't know if I'm gonna keep my profile open and active on Central Casting. But I mean, I would have loved to say, hey, I did Law and Order too. Like that would have been really cool, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, they also asked me. Oh no, that wasn't Law and Order. There's a show. I don't even know about the show. There's a show called FBI. Have you heard of a show called FBI? But a show called FBI reached out to me a lot of times too, and they wanted me to do like scenes where I'm like a first responder. Basically, I'd be wearing like, the medical stuff, and I'm at a scene, and I guess I'm looking like I'm investigating. I don't know. Do medical examiners? I don't know what the position was exactly, but that would have been fun, I think. But it was also cold, and I didn't want to be outside. And it sounded like it was like the scene of a crime was outside. I didn't want to be outside, like acting like I'm concerned about this dead body we found. Like I don't want to do that. But that's a cool thing about the background actors, because it's not always just like a pedestrian person or a person in a club or a person at the restaurant. Like sometimes you're a receptionist at a hospital. It seems like you have more, like sometimes your role is more significant or feels more significant than just somebody walking by, which is kind of cool. Like I said, when I was in the Fight Club scene, I was an active screamer. I had the close-up shot on me. So my scream mattered, or my scream expression, because I wasn't screaming. So yeah. But most recently, my scene in Harlem, where I'm just a patron at the diner, less significant. The scene would have still made perfect sense without me right there. But if I were to be like the receptionist at the doctor's office and I wasn't there, it would be kind of weird. So yeah, background actors matter. Shout out to background actors all over the world. We keep the realism in these movies and TV shows. Am I gonna do a side part? I think I'll do like a side part for my retwist. But so I've been on here for about an hour, so I'm gonna get off of here really soon so that I can finish my retwist faster. W says, have you gotten any spoken line parts? No. And if I have seen people get I guess promoted to have speaking parts, or not even not speaking parts. I've seen them get promoted to have more like active parts. But typically central casting only casts background actors. Background actors don't have lines. Not like for real. Yeah, no. Once you have lines, I think you're now called something else. What do they call it? But you're not called a background actor anymore. It's something else. Something else. But no, I never got any lines in these shows that I'm talking about now. But I did see so in the scene with the wedding, where they shot up the wedding on Ghost, I did see somebody get promoted, and basically what happened with him was he had gotten the what, I can't believe I can't remember what it's called. It's not like featured. It's a I can't remember what it's called, but it was one background actor. He got promoted to do like a gun handoff at the wedding, like with Lil Durk. The scene, something like that. Something like that. He had like, hand off a gun or something. Poppy said, "Would you do a love scene?" No, I wouldn't. So I've done no, supporting actor is more than just a line. Like you're gonna be like a side character, a whole side character. But if you're a background actor who has a line, there's something for that. There's something for that. But a supporting actor is like, okay, for instance, what's an example of a supporting actor? What's a movie or a show? I can't think of anything right now. Okay, The Cosby Show, right? A supporting actor might be Elvin, which was the daughter's husband, right? That's a supporting actor. But yes, Poppy, I did a short film that never came out, or maybe it'll come out eventually. I don't know. But in that short film, it was it was only 4 of us. It was only 4 actors, and I was the lead along with my co-star who played my boyfriend. And in that short film, we did have a kiss scene where it was implied that we had a love scene afterwards, but we didn't do that. It was a kiss and then, cut. And then it was like the next day, like you realize we woke up like passion, right? But there's no actual love scene, and I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would do that. I just feel like love scenes are very unnecessary, and usually they're not good. Tell me when you name one movie where there was like a good love scene. They're like not like they're just not good, and they're just not they're not necessary to push the story forward. Like we don't have this. We don't have to see that. Like we can just give us the enough for us to imply that sex follows. Like we don't have to 50 Shades of Grey. I never saw that because to me that I always felt like, okay, I don't want to I don't want to see like this fake lifestyle type of movie, like the fake. So, okay, for instance, I actually watched Horrible Decisions podcast. Well, now it's called Decisions, but I used to watch Horrible Decisions podcast where they would actually have guests who were in the lifestyle, people who were dominatrix, people who were, the people who do the, I can't think of the names of these things, but basically like, I felt like a movie. I felt like, again, I didn't see the movie, so I don't know for sure, but I felt like a movie like a 50 Shades of Grey was kind of making a mockery out of the lifestyle. And from what I heard, they did do like a lot of like irresponsible representation of the lifestyle, like of how doms and submissives really interact. So I don't know. But if you tell me the movie's good, I'll check it out. But I don't know. But I doubt it. I doubt it's good. W says, I don't believe I would do a love scene either. Yeah, because why? Why? So I'm gonna let me think. So let me think of some love scenes in movies. Ooh, ouch. Okay, you know what was a love scene that was just like, why? Monsters Ball. Did y'all see that movie? First of all, I thought that the movie was interesting. It was an interesting movie. It was definitely an interesting movie. Zay Nuckham says, I was geeked you were in the Oshun video. Oh yeah, you remember that? Thanks. That was in 2021 or 2022, something like that. Yeah, that was really fun. That was a fun shoot, and that's a really good song. Shout out to Oshun. Shout out to 100K by Oshun. I was in that music video for sure. That's a good one. Thanks for reminding me of that. That's a good song. Oh yeah, so okay, so y'all saw that. Yeah, that love scene was, it was an extreme drama and sad. It was an extreme drama and it was sad. But I thought the acting was really good and it was an interesting story. It was an interesting story, and that's what I like. I like to see stories that are different, and it was definitely a different story. I feel you. That scene with Hallie was so unnecessary. They did her dirty. Yeah, like why do they do that? Why did they do that? Oh, yeah, that thing was very good. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And remember Diddy was Halle Berry's husband on death row in that movie and he got the electric chair? Yeah, remember that? Oh, okay. Just checking. My eyes were violated. Yeah. Ciao. Yeah. But like what other sex scenes? What other sex scenes? Other movies like I'm trying to think of another movie that probably had that maybe had an okay sex scene. And when I say okay sex scene, I mean like where you felt like the sex was necessary in the movie. Um okay, I got one. The Best Man. The Best Man, the first one. Remember they were showing flashbacks to Harper and Mia having sex when Lance was reading the book. Now, I thought that was actually necessary, and it wasn't like a full-on sex scene. They just showed moments, and I thought that was necessary because you know it was in the past, and we kind of wanted, like, we needed to see kind of what happened in the past because Harper was kind of like denying what happened, and like we didn't really know for sure until we saw Lance come to the realization, and then we saw the sex scene, and like in that movie, it made sense. The sex scene in that movie made sense. The girl's mom says, "Hi, off topic, but I love your locks. Thank you. How long have you been locked? I've been locked for 14 years. Thank you so much. They were at their longest, they were down to my thighs, but I cut them to my waist a couple of years ago, and now they're back to my butt. They're getting down to mid butt, not quite mid butt, but the butt, top of my butt. Yes, it made sense. That sex scene made sense, and it was necessary. I mean, granted, the story could have moved on without it, but it did help. That sex scene helps. Poppy says that Tyler Perry movie with the painter. Okay, so the thing about that movie, though, I think that movie was supposed to be like an erotica kind of, like, I think, first of all, that movie was bad. That movie was bad. But I think that there was an attempt for it to be like those books you read. Like, do you remember? I don't know if I'm from New York. Like, I remember when in high school, on my way to school, like there would be like these tables set up where people are selling $5 books. Like, it gives me those $5 books when you just no, I liked it too, Poppy. I liked it, but it was still bad. It was still bad. I can acknowledge that it was bad, but I did enjoy it. I watched it twice. Trevante Rhodes, I watched it twice. Let's be clear. I liked it, but it was not a good movie. So I like to make the distinction between movies that I like and then movies that are good, because I understand that I'm not gonna only like movies that are well written. It wasn't well written. That movie was not well written at all. But it reminded me of those $5 books. They're often like eroticas, and they're $5 because you can tell the author wrote that book in a week, if that. And maybe they didn't even go back and edit to fix their grammatical errors. It gave like those $5 books that he turned into a movie. And those books kind of need the sex scenes for it to be interesting for real. Those, like, that movie wouldn't have been very interesting if there was no sex in it. It wouldn't have been very interesting without the sex. And that's a bad thing. You don't want the movie good because of the sex scene. The movie is called Mea Culpa, the Tyler Perry movie with Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes. Anybody else in there that I know by name? No, that's only 2 actors I could think of. Oh, the girl from P-Valley, Shannon Thornton. Sidebar, that woman is so beautiful to me. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but it's Shannon something. $5 book is crazy work. Yes, do you know what I'm talking about? The $5 books. At least it was $5 in my day. Okay, I grew up in the 2000s, so I'm a 90s baby. So I'm sure those books are probably $15 now, but they were $5. And I had a homegirl. We still homegirls, but back then, she would always buy those books, and she would always be reading those books. I'm like, girl, why are you reading that? She's like, it's so good. I'm like, you reading that garbage? What throwback Black sitcom would I like to be a part of? That's a great question. I saw that movie, never read the book. Oh, is there a book? I don't think there's a book. I was comparing it to a book. I was saying it reminded me of those cheap books, but like in a movie form. But if I have to choose a Black sitcom, I mean, I guess I would choose maybe one of my favorites. Living Single is my favorite. I guess I would have been friends with Khadijah. I probably would have been friends with Khadijah. Or if not Living Single, A Different World. But if I was on A Different World, I would have wanted to be like a professor or something. I would have been wanted to be like maybe a TA, like one of yeah, yeah. That's such a good question. That actually made me think. But I've been on here for too long. Let me get out of here. So let me do my last round of promos. Y'all, my head wraps are available. The pre-order is now over. They're available. I have them, so I'm ready to ship them out. So if you want your head wraps, you can get them on KeishaCharmaine.com, or you can get them on TikTok Shop, right? They're in 13 colors. So grab yours now. If you're interested in your hair growth oils and your lock products, you have to get these on KeishaCharmaine.com from the 15th through the 18th during our drop period, okay? If you want your hair growth supplement, so it's for hair growth, also nail growth and strength, and skin clarity, Kashavi. This supplement I'm super proud of. I partnered with a very reputable company to make these, and they are available on Kashavi.com, KECHAVI.com. And that's it for promo. Last comments. Poppy said, I don't know why I can see you in the Parkers or Moesha. I forgot about that. I used to love me some Brandy. Growing up, I loved me some Brandy. I still love Brandy. I mean, she hasn't given me much lately, but I love Brandy. And yeah. So I guess if I was on, honestly, Parkers, I like the Parkers, but Parkers was a little bit too silly for me. I can be really goofy, but I'm also very serious. So I have to be in the mood for like Parker's humor. I have to be in the mood because, again, I can be silly, but I'm generally a very serious person. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm very serious. But I probably would have been on Moesha over the Parkers, and if I was on Moesha, I probably would have been like on like the yearbook committee or like something like that, the newspaper committee or something. When I was in high school, I was on the student council, you know. How much water have you drank already today? Hey, Tasha, I am about halfway, so I am behind. I should be more than halfway at this point, but I will get off of here. I didn't want to drink while I was on the live because I didn't want to have to go and use the bathroom like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get you 1K likes every time I live, every live. I promise. Oh, thank you, Poppy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna try to come live more often. TikTok is, I'm not TikTok. YouTube is my home. So is Instagram, but I'm trying to do this multi platform thing going on. So right now, TikTok, and I'm on. Maybe next time I'll do YouTube, Instagram. Maybe next time I'll do Instagram and TikTok. I don't know. But thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Have a good rest of your Sunday. And y'all will catch me soon. I will be live again soon. All right. Have a good one. Love, light, and light.